Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Entrepreneurial Truth Podcast. And my guest this week is Sean Erwin. Sean is a certified business coach specializing in value-based sales for entrepreneurs. He spent nearly 20 years as an inside sales rep and manager within corporate America for security, financial, and real estate industries. When Sean worked for the largest online real estate brokerage as an inside sales agent, he quickly became the top salesperson for the entire company. He was recognized for handling the most volume of leads as well as having the highest conversion rates. Sean then carried those same results for other brokerages that he worked with. For the past 2 years, Sean has been coached dozens of entrepreneurs and businesses. His mission is simple: help entrepreneurs identify their own unique value so they can see more breakthroughs with their sales. Welcome to the show, Sean.
Thank you, sir. Great to be here.
Awesome to have you. Hey, we've had a conversation way before the show, and so far I'm loving the conversation. I wish we could have recorded that part.
Oh, same here, man. Awesome. Loved it.
First question I always ask, or well, most of the time, can't say always, but what made you decide to become an entrepreneur? What lit that fire inside of you?
You know, that I love how you said fire, and that's really what it was. You know, it was really three things. One, I had a passion to have unlimited income. I knew that the sky was a limit when it came to the income portion. I also love the fact that I could be flexible. You know, of all the corporate jobs I had and all the things I did in the past, I hated when I just wasn't able to just take off a day that I want to take off, or just go travel, or do this here, spend time with my family there. Couldn't do it. And then the final thing, especially the last few years, that I think has been a huge passion for me is creating impact. Just creating impact has been huge for me.
Wow, that's awesome. Because that's kind of how I feel too. It's like we want to not only help ourselves and our families, but we want to help others as well. And I really see that in you, Sean. I do. I see that that heart for everyone else inside of you.
Likewise. I appreciate that.
All right. Everybody knows this. Not that one thing. I got to take the glasses off, so I won't see you the rest of the show. So there we go. Now I'm officially blind. It's part of the show. It really is.
That's right. Your signature piece.
Yeah. It's just who I am. Okay. So you said that that you had that fire. I know we were talking earlier, and you said that fire was really early on. If you wanted to expand on that, that would be cool.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it really started as a kid. You know, as you and I were talking earlier, you know, had a really successful lawn business as a kid, as a teenager for a long time. And that fire for me was at that time when it started was, you know, when I was 11 and 12, everybody was just talking about going to go work at the restaurant or at McDonald's or somewhere in the area. And I'll just never forget. It was like, I don't want to do that. And that's what started it. That was that passion. Like I can make a difference. I can do something different for me if I just work hard and just figured it out. All right. And that was what it started technically. And that's when it really just started I understood what that fire and that passion meant, you know. And then later on, you know, even just a couple of years ago, it's funny, that same fire was coming back, you know, but in a different way. Like I said, it was different this time because as we get older, you know, I started realizing it really is about creating impact. And that became my fire. You know, I love it when people say, what's your passion? You know, what's this and that? You know, for me, when I thought back, a passion wasn't a thing. It wasn't money. It wasn't this. It was an outcome that I wanted to achieve. It was something that I saw that was a result of something that I was a part of or helping with. You know, just seeing somebody just saying, thank you. That meant a lot. Thank you for your help or this. You know, that makes all the difference in the world.
It does. It does. And it's, oh man, I tell you what, I do this show and I'm blown away by the people that I meet and the depth of the caring they have for other people and the legacy that they want to leave. And for some reason in my heart, that's a big deal for you, legacy. You know, I don't know why, but I just feel like you're going to leave a legacy. I just believe that. I really do.
Thank you. You know, it means a lot, and I appreciate you saying that, because it, especially now that, you know, you have family, you know, especially when you have a family, you really do. You know, now the impact is becoming not just to helping other people, but truly impacting your family, your kids. You know, and that, you just said it. That's a powerful word, legacy. Powerful word. There's so much in that. You know, but you're so astute. You know, very insightful. So true. So true. But
Yeah,
thank you for saying that. It means a lot.
it's true. I just felt that. We do cover a lot of things here, but one thing I really want to cover, I know you've been really successful in your life, but has there been any internal or external struggles or things that you'd like to share with the audience to help them to be able to overcome those same things?
Oh man, I'm so glad you bring that up, because I feel like, you know, I feel like so many times we as entrepreneurs, or even people thinking of being an entrepreneur, all they focus on are people's successes. They don't see the failures. They don't see the huge amount of mistakes that we've made in the past, you know, and what we had to go through. You know, it's like what my wife would always say. It's like, you know, it's almost like the video camera wasn't there. It wasn't there. People haven't seen it. So absolutely, you know, and I'm very transparent about it. I had a huge amount of limiting beliefs around success, around making mistakes, you know, around failure. See, I was raised that it's either quitting or winning. There's really nothing in between. And so you're the winner or loser. And in a way that's okay, I understand. But at the same time, what's in between there are all the mistakes, all the failures. You know what? This is nothing new than any other big entrepreneur and big business owner. I failed way more times than I succeeded. The thing was, the difference was, I realized because of those limiting beliefs, I had to get over it. I didn't have the real encouragement. I wasn't taught that failure was okay. But when I realized that it was, and that it was a necessary ingredient for success, then I knew I had to be okay with it. It just started taking off, and it wasn't overnight, right? And I think that's the other thing people think too, is that it's just an overnight fix, these limiting beliefs or this or that. And no, and these limiting beliefs for me were thoughts. It was these thoughts that, both internal, external, just these thoughts that were just driven by emotions, or driven by beliefs, or driven by all kinds of things. And I had to acknowledge it first. And that took, to be honest, that took a while even to acknowledge it. But when I did, and I started working towards getting over it, and all those things, it was like all of a sudden things just started falling in play. And you and I were just talking about this, right? Which is, and I agree with you 100%. You are not going to be where you want until you get yourself right internally, right? You're going to grow at the pace of who you are inside. And I did not realize that. Right?
Sometimes
So
we don't. And
no,
sometimes it's like,
no.
your business is you. It's
Mhm.
what it is. You know,
It
it's
is.
driven by you. It's powered by you, but it also has the limiting beliefs that you have and the baggage that you carry.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so to be able to get to the next level, so to speak, I know that's a big thing nowadays, the
Yeah.
next whatever that is,
Right.
but to get over yourself is the hardest
Yes.
thing.
Yes. We are our greatest barrier. I tell people all the time, whether it's clients or just people I talk to, we are our greatest critic. We are our greatest ingredient to getting to where we need to be. Those walls, I find myself, you know, talking to people, and their greatest barrier is some wall, something that's just right inside of themselves. It has nothing to do, really, for the most part, external things. Those are just things that are easily solvable. It's right here. It's all in there, you know, and that's what I had to realize for myself, right? And then that's what the big misconception is a lot of times, to your point, you know, is people think that when it's success or things in entrepreneurship, that it's something else I got to go grab and learn, or it's over here I got to go learn, or I got to go do. No, that starts right here.
Mhm.
It starts with these 2 feet and the head on top of these shoulders, right there.
One thing I find is that what we do is we'll put ourselves into everything but the thing that
Mm,
holds us back.
so true. So true. And sometimes we don't even know what's holding us back, right? I mean,
Right.
sometimes we don't even know how to acknowledge what that is that's holding us back. And that's why sometimes, just getting clarity is a hard thing, right? Just if people,
Mhm.
and we were talking about this too, having a mentor, right? Just having somebody to give that outside perspective, somebody that's already laid out the trenches that we can follow in.
I've seen,
You know?
I said this, and I don't know how many people have actually seen this movie because I don't think it's extremely popular, but it was called Mothman Prophecies, and it was about the
Yeah, heard of it.
Mothman guy.
Yeah.
And so he goes to this guy that studied this thing for years and says, well, is it so much better than us or whatever? It's just, no, it just
Hmm.
sits up higher. It can see a little bit further than we can. And that's what a mentor and a coach does.
Hmm.
They've been through the forest, they've cleared the path, and so they can
Hmm.
see just a little further than we can, and
Yes.
they can make our path straight.
Yes, and I to that point, you're right. I like what somebody else had told me recently too about a mentor and a coach or an accountability partner is you're not going to them for minutes. You're going to them for the years of experience that they had, the years that you're getting all that wisdom from, all those things that they accumulated over time. You
Yeah,
know, you're
picture like
right.
picture like a jungle, and you
Mm,
have to try to pick which path you're going to go and which area you're going to clear to create a path.
that's right.
Whereas a coach and a mentor has already cleared that path, and it's the right path.
Yes.
Because you could clear the wrong path and go the wrong way and not
Hmm.
even know it.
Yeah, it's true. And we go into it blindly. That was me
Hmm.
too.
Hmm.
I knew about having mentor. I knew about this or that, but it was my own stubbornness that would get in the way sometimes.
Hmm.
Like, hey, I need to understand these things. So, sometimes it's submitting that part of the ego to say, okay, I need to learn this from somebody that's been there. I need that guidance, like you said. We all, if you're an entrepreneur, we all need that. I have several coaches right now myself, because I need it, right? We all need it.
We all do.
Yeah,
Yeah, we all do.
yeah.
So you mentioned limiting beliefs. What specifically did you find that was really holding you back? What was one limiting belief that was really holding you back?
Oh, a great question. I can tell you right now, it was the fear of failure. It was the fear of failure. And what I like somebody said to me, back at that time was it wasn't just fear of failure, it was a fear of success too. If you think about it,
Mm,
and even though I have been successful in a career and, have my failures and ups and downs and all, but even though those times I would fail, I didn't because I didn't understand it was really a necessity and it was okay. Then I became a failure. I felt like a failure. So then I tried to do everything I could to avoid it.
mm,
So what do you call it? Playing it safe? Well, that doesn't do anything,
right.
So yeah. Oh, fear of failure. It's such a powerful thing, and I didn't realize how powerful it was until I started seeing the where it was in every area of my life.
Mm,
Even though I put up this front, that I was confident, that I was happy, I was excited, I was just full of life, and I'm just a go getter. I'm gonna get it done. Deep down, it was, oh, I can't fail.
mm.
What's going to happen if I fail? What's going to happen? Oh, and then it just start creeping in, then the thoughts, then the emotions, then what happens after that? Then your actions start reflecting that. That becomes my reality. And it's like, man, and it just, man, it just encapsulates you. It just
I
change you
think,
down.
yeah, I think that like you said fear of success too, and part of
Mm-hmm.
that for me was it's like the whole thought of rich people are bad and all this other stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and in your subconscious you're like, I don't want to be that person. So every time you would go to do something that really mattered for your business, you'd stop doing that and you'd go to like the shiny object syndrome is what I
Yeah,
call it.
you
So
do.
you find some new program or some new something and you have to learn that, and then you'd have to go into this, and then
Yeah.
you have to you're going to do a blog post or whatever it would be that wouldn't be the thing that would make your business successful.
Amen to that. And it's interesting you said, and I was smiling on that because that was exactly me years ago. I would get all the sales trainings. I would go seek this. I would read this book, I was told this is the magic stuff right here. Go study that. And you know what? It didn't work because it wasn't working up here in my head. That was the biggest hurdle right there, is figure you can't do anything. None of that sales strategy, none of that stuff is going to matter until you get yourself figured out first.
One thing I've said, and I don't know how true, but I think that everything that we need is right inside of us.
Couldn't agree more with that. Couldn't agree more.
And I
it's
think
just
that
pulling it out.
Yeah, it's pulling it out, and it's recognizing that we are not as little as we see ourselves in the mirror.
Yes.
See, we see ourselves in the mirror, we see all our flaws, we see all
That's
the bad
real.
stuff. Everyone else says, "Oh my gosh, that dude's a rock star," you know. But yeah, when we look in the mirror, we're like, I'm just some kid from this town, you know.
Right.
Pretty much.
Yeah. But it is true. But we just are programmed that as we get older, and call it society, call it whatever you want, we just start seeing things that way. It's interesting you brought that up. I look at my son who's 2.5, and there's such an innocence at that age. He loves being thrown in the air, or he trusts you so much. He doesn't have fear. He just plows at it. And then a lot of times he'll just come charging at me when he sees me with a hug. He doesn't stop. He just slams his whole body into me, And it just, those littlest things remind me of myself in terms of where I am today. Am I doing that same thing? Am I just charging at it? Am I just putting all the limiting beliefs and all those things aside? Because just because you overcome it doesn't mean that it's not going to try to creep up again.
Oh, it's a daily thing.
That's right.
It's a daily challenge.
Yeah.
And like I said, my what I advocate, I guess, is winning the day. And so you have to face yourself in the mirror every single day and do this. It isn't like, oh, I beat that, I'm on to something else.
Yeah.
It creeps back up with every level. I've heard this. Every level, there's a new devil or something like this.
Yeah.
But it's kind of true. But that devil's kind of inside of you. That sounds creepy, but you know what I mean. It's just it's our own selves that are getting in the way. It's like, hey, I'm comfortable with the level I'm at. I get to another level, like, whoa, hold on, there's an edge there or something. It's holding me back.
Yeah. Oh yeah. My wife and I were just talking about this the other day. Is are you comfortable or are you uncomfortable? And I've realized for my own life, I had to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, because then it meant I could grow. And then really the reverse could be said too. Be uncomfortable with being comfortable. Right? It's going to motivate you too.
That's deep. That's deep.
For me, that's how I just sum it up, because I'm all about keeping things simple. So to me, that's how I looked at it is, but you're always going to be tested on that every day, like you said, every day.
Yeah. On this podcast, the tagline is "What's your story?" And it's not only what's your story as an entrepreneur, what's your story of things that have held you back, but what's the story that you speak out of your mouth? What's a story that's been written into your subconscious, and how do we change that story? How do we rewrite that book?
That's a pretty deep, powerful question. And I love that, because you bring up some things that we're trained to tell people what we do and how successful we are. Look at me, and I do this, I do that. And it's interesting. I was talking to somebody over in Europe, and they were saying they don't even bother asking people what they do, because that's irrelevant. One of their first questions they ask is, "Tell me about your family."
Wow, that's so different from here. And
yes,
the mentality here, and especially up here in Michigan, I don't know what it is for everyone else, but up here, it's work yourself to death. If you work 40 hours a week, that's kind of part-time. I mean, really, it is. It's the factory mindset where it's like, I actually was told that I was lazy because I didn't want to do overtime there.
Jeez. Wow.
And I do, I'll put in 13 to 15 hours a day.
Gosh. Wow.
Because I do this, and I'll, like I said, I was up at 2:30 in the morning, and I'm still up doing a show right now.
Yeah.
So, it's been a long day.
It has, but you know, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what other people think. It doesn't matter what people tell you. And you know this, you know, as an entrepreneur, you're going to get a ton of people trying to tell you or trying to look at you like this or that. It's all a status thing or that has, you know, I realized too for myself is I got to a point where I didn't care what people thought or what they said. I knew who I was and I knew what my mission was all about. And when you get back to that story, that's all part of that
It's exactly
was,
it. And I
yeah,
said the same thing. It's like, I know who I am. I know what
that's
my
right.
story is.
That's right.
And no one else has the right to write that for me.
That's right.
And
So true.
that's a powerful statement. If you guys think about that, whoever's listening out there, you know, it's your story. No one else can write it for you.
Yes.
Just remember that, because I think that's powerful.
Yes. Yes. Couldn't agree more with that.
So, okay. So we're going to get on a tangent, I guarantee you.
Yeah, no, we're getting deep. I love
I love it. I love it
it.
because
So do I.
honestly, this is the I think it's the biggest thing that entrepreneurs go through. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, money's an issue and time is an issue and all these other things are issues,
Yeah.
but they're solvable. You know,
Yes.
the biggest question is, where are you at right now? What is your story? What is coming out of your mouth about yourself?
Yeah. So for me, what I tell people is right off the bat, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Yes, I do coaching. I do this. But let me tell you something before we get into the successes and things. I failed a lot. And I say that. I have seen the failures. I have seen the limiting beliefs. I have seen the fears. And you want to know something? There's hope. I had
There
somebody
is.
ask me that, you know, and I've said them that he was really taken back, like, wow, I was kind of expecting you to give me your statistics of how you've created results over here. So I can give that to you. That's not a problem.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what's behind it.
Yeah, I interview a lot of people, and I do this a lot. I mean,
Mm,
but I meet so many cool, I mean, really, really good people, genuine people. And
yeah.
my first interview was with Lynn Silva, who's now my coach,
Mm-hmm.
and she said, "Yeah, I'm an overnight success since 2013."
Oh, man.
I love that because that's the
Wow.
truth.
Wow.
You get on the map, right? And all of a sudden,
Yep.
wow, this guy's taking everything by storm,
That's
blah,
right.
blah, 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 blah.
That's right.
They don't see the struggle that happened for you to get there.
So true.
And that's
So
what
true.
this is about. We're trying to tell the story of the entrepreneur. We're,
Yes.
and it's almost like the story of Rocky in a way.
It is. It really is.
he,
Yeah, you're right.
he
Yeah.
fights hard and, you know, he doesn't believe in himself and he gets
Mm-hmm.
a title match and he, you know, gets it just, you know, on a whim, basically. They're just giving the local loser a shot, basically.
Right.
Seriously,
It's true.
he tie. I mean, he doesn't win, but he doesn't lose. You know, or I think he did lose. I can't remember if he lost or what, but he took him to the last round or whatever. So in the second one, he wins, and then he's got all this stuff, and then all of a sudden he loses all that stuff, and
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
crazy.
It's a great, yeah, it's true though. You're right. If you think about it, it's the best story for it.
Yeah, yeah, because it's the story of success,
It
and
is.
you know, so it sometimes it is a little luck, you know, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's right place at right time, you know, things
Mm-hmm.
like that. But to be honest, it really is what's inside of you that matters.
Yes. Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you on that, Jim. You know, and it's interesting you brought that up because again, how we're programmed is we only see people these true successes of where they are today. You know, we don't understand that, and I love that she said that to you. Oh yeah, I'm an overnight success. I love that. That's why I was laughing because I knew she was going with that. I mean, it was beautiful. I'm glad she acknowledged that. You know, because we just think that that's just how it happens,
Mm-hmm.
right? It doesn't happen that way. Look, if you didn't have struggle, if you didn't have the things that needed to happen to get to where you are today, then I would question who you are really as an entrepreneur then.
Mm-hmm.
I would question your influence. I would question your credibility. Look, none of us are perfect. You don't have to be perfect to get there,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Right.
I so agree with you 100%. It's right in here.
Mm-hmm.
It's in there. We're all created for greatness. I truly believe that. It's just, it's our job to pull it out. It's
That's
our
true.
job to get it out.
But I'll say this too. I think we do need help, and I
Yeah.
100% believe in coaching because I think those people can pull it out.
Yeah.
Okay, here's what's happening for me. So I'm just going to talk about my own personal thing right now, just for a
Sure.
second.
Sure.
And it's just that she'll put like a path, like here, do this, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to kill this, whatever it is,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and that's what I do. And I don't think about what I believe about this and what I believe about myself or whatever. I put my head down and do the task.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something a coach can do for you because they set you on a path and they get you into a task and it almost overcomes those beliefs because you're not even thinking about that anymore. You're thinking about the
Yeah.
task at hand
Yes.
instead of, oh, what should I do? Am I good enough? Blah, blah, blah. What am I going to,
Mm-hmm.
you just go ahead and you do.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
it's a different mindset, a different part of your brain engages when you do that.
Yes. Well, sure, because it clicks. It starts clicking. Look, even my coaches that I have, for me, it's the same thing because when you've got that, you start to then trust them because then you start to think, well, maybe they see something in me that I don't see yet,
Mm-hmm.
right? Maybe there's something there that they're pulling out, but you know what? I'll go with it. Like you said, what do I need to focus on?
Mm-hmm.
And I love, I have two coaches now. And what's interesting is each one, they tackle different things, but I love it is to your point, well, here's the task I want you to focus on. I'm like, really? Like, yes, here's how you're going to do it and figure it out. We're going to figure this out. And it's like, because of their enthusiasm, because of their belief, because of their experience, because that they have taken the time to say, I know you can do this. I like what somebody had said. In fact, I had a call earlier today. He's actually a veteran, and he's a coach for a lot of veterans getting into entrepreneurship. And what was interesting is he said something that was, I thought, very powerful as a coach. He says, I prove to them that I am more committed in them than they are of themselves.
Mm.
I want to show them that I am more committed and believing in them because they need that. They need to see that.
And we also get that too from coaches. It's like, sometimes we
Yeah.
feel a little lonely out there.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of. I
We
mean,
do.
that's just my personal opinion, but I mean,
Yeah.
like we're trying to trudge ahead by ourselves to overcome all these beliefs and these doubts
Yeah.
and fears and
Oh my gosh.
all the
Yeah.
things that are inside of us. If we get a coach, somebody that says, "Oh my God, you're amazing! You just did this." I had
Yes.
Lynn do this in the group. She was like, 2 weeks ago you didn't even know how to do a micro video. Now you're just killing it. It's like one of the best ones I've seen. And all this stuff. And you're like, wow, I just threw
Right.
that together. That's amazing. I feel
That's
real
right.
good.
That's right.
And it does help you overcome your beliefs because
Mm-hmm.
you're on task. You're doing the things that they're telling you to do, and you're seeing things work.
Yeah.
So you start to get more
Yeah.
excited.
You do, but see, it goes back though that you made a decision to trust that. You
Yeah.
know, you make the decision and then you made the decision to do it, to execute. And I find that to be not just to myself, but all of us. It sounds crazy or just simple, but it is. We just simply make a decision and then you do it.
Yeah. You
You
have to
know?
take action because
Oh,
That's
yeah.
that's one of the biggest things about being an entrepreneur. You have to take action. You can't just sit in the sidelines because that's not you.
Yeah.
That's not who you were meant to be.
No.
So you have to go forth and take action and do it, even though maybe it's not the best thing in the world. I'm not trying to be perfect, of course, because if you've seen any of these shows, that's not true. So,
I love the show. It's been great. I love
well, thank you. But,
it.
it's not perfect. In fact, I
Yeah.
had one guy that I just interviewed. It ain't out yet, but the phone tipped over.
Oh,
He was
no
he was
way.
recording it. I just left it in. I thought it was great.
Oh no! Wait, well, I got one better for you. I'm doing a recording, and all of a sudden the power decides to go out. Stunned. Guy texted me, says, "Are you all right? Are you still there?" It's like, yeah,
He's all
power goes
right.
out. Oh yeah, perfect timing. It was great.
That's funny. But that's what happens
It
sometimes. And I
does.
don't
does.
I thought about editing stuff and doing all that. And I'm like, you know what? Nah, that's entertaining. No big deal. I'm
It's
good
real
with it.
life. It's real life.
It's real life.
That's the way it goes. Yeah.
So let me ask you this. What do you do right now? I mean, this is your opportunity. If you have any courses or coaching or anything that you have out there, I want you to tell everybody about it and how they can get a hold of you and how all of that.
Thank you, brother. That means a lot. Yeah. So really, the two best ways to find me is Facebook and Instagram. Facebook, just very simply Sean, Sean, and then Erwin, Erwin. And then the tag on Instagram is Sean C. Erwin. And in there, you'll see a lot of content, right? I'm all about content and some things to help you, some quick tips, some things to really get you going. I do one-on-one coaching. I also just literally, I think was it yesterday or the day before, came out with a brand new intense mini coaching package. And it's designed to get to the problem quickly, give you quick support to get you up and running on your feet as fast as possible. Got a lot of guidelines, a lot of workbooks, things like that are available. And that's all through going to Facebook and Instagram and clicking on the landing page, which I have on my Instagram profile in particular, and you'll see all that stuff there.
That's really good. That's good. And you know what? It's funny because I seem to say this all the time, but I'm not doing this out of, an obligation or anything like that. I think that you're genuine with what you do.
Thank you, brother.
And I think that people could really benefit from your program. And we'll put it in the YouTube links too. It should be down below when you're watching this.
Sure.
The link should be down below if I've done my work right. If I've done my part, then it's there. If not, well, then you're going to have to go to Facebook.
Deal with it.
Just kidding.
Deal with
it. But no, here's another question for you.
Yes,
If you were just starting out as an entrepreneur, what would be your advice to that person just starting?
So I'm going to preface this before I give you a statement that has been powerful and has summarized what I had to go through. And the preface here is, don't allow limiting beliefs or fears to stop you from not only pursuing entrepreneurship, but to seeing it through. Don't give up. Delays are not denials. But the statement I want to leave with you summarizes everything, for me at least, that I've found effective for others, is this: beliefs and emotions drive our thoughts, which drives our actions, and that equates to our reality. And that summarizes everything for me in terms of what it takes to create that reality that you want in your life and in your business, right? So don't give up on yourself, not so much your business, but yourself. And that's what I would leave.
That's powerful. I like it because it's one simple step that leads to another.
Yeah.
Your thoughts lead to your beliefs lead to what you create that day, which leads to what you create that month and that year.
Yeah.
And it just goes on from there. And so it literally creates your reality.
Yes, it does.
If I could talk.
Whatever it is. Yeah. I love it. I love it, bro. You got it.
Yeah, it's very deep and very powerful. I have no idea what time we've spent on this show today because I honestly can't see the time. But is there anything you want to leave with the listeners out there this week?
Yeah, I would say that for starters, go with what you're hearing today and all these things that you're hearing. It's creating a fire. See what your fire is. Call it a passion. Call it what you want, but identify what your passion is. Identify what that is for you. Right? We don't know what we need to do. Sometimes we don't know what we don't know, but it starts very quickly with understanding what it is that you want to do. And secondly, I would say is determine what your own distinct value is. right? You put product and services, all that aside. I'm not saying that that's not important. What is your distinct value? What are you bringing to the table for people? What are you bringing to the table in your business that no one else can do, right? And then when you know that, then you can start implementing a game plan. Then you can start determining what are those steps. And don't get overwhelmed either with, oh my gosh, and you would sort of mention this as well, Jim, earlier about, having the time, do I have enough time for this, enough time for that? But time doesn't, you can't manage time. None of us can. Time keeps ticking. You can't control it. What you can control, your priorities. Mm-hmm. Priorities is what gets you to your goals. Priorities is what gets you to where you want to be in yourself and your business. So and again, I try to keep this as simple as possible, not complicated. It's just knowing where do you think right now you want to go? And that may not be perfect, and you're not going to know all where you want to go. I got news for you. I thought I knew where I was going to go, but then after a year or two, it totally changed for the better, right? But have a starting point and know your value that you can you live by. You talk about it, you think about it, you act on it. That's your value, right? And then you can start implementing a good strategy to get there. And I see that so often as people don't know their value.
I love that. I do. Know your worth. Know what you're worth. Find out your value, and then don't compromise.
Yes.
I really like that. I appreciate you, Sean. I appreciate you being a guest on the show today.
Thank you, brother.
Do you want to say goodbye to everybody first?
No, hey, thank you guys. Wish you the best. Thank you for your time and listening.
Yeah, really appreciate you, and we'll see you next week.